Hi. Hi, YouTube. What's up? Trying to figure this out right now. Um, IDK, how to make it not flipped. It might, you know what? What if we just have it on cam, I guess? I'll have to figure this out at a later date. Chat is still flipped. Well, it's also not the right chat. So, uh, uh. Life is hard. Um, I'm curious if you guys are even hearing the music. I don't even know. YouTube Live is so weird. So awkward. Anywho, um, I wanted to go over some of the coverage about the election. Um, things are still up in the air, unfortunately, so we don't know a whole lot more today than we did yesterday. But just wanted to read some analysis. We're on CNN, by the way. If you would like to read along, I guess we can do this. All right. Okay. So, Nevada's Clark County rejects false claim from Trump. Obviously, he's misinformed. You don't say. Crazy. Trump being misinformed? Well, I never. As Clark County, Nevada continued to count votes on Thursday, the county registrar rejected former President Donald Trump's latest effort to raise suspicions about its elections, saying Trump is obviously misinformed. Trump claimed falsely on his social media platform on Thursday that Clark County has a corrupt voting system, warning Republican Senate candidate Adam Laxalt to be careful. There's simply no basis for Trump's claim. Yep, like most of his claims. And the claim followed Trump's numerous false allegations about the 2020 election in Clark County, a Democratic stronghold that is home to Las Vegas. On Thursday, Clark County Registrar of Voters Joe Gloria told reporters, quote, obviously he's misinformed 2 years later about the law in our election processes, which ensure the integrity of elections in Clark County and the state, end quote. Gloria explained that state law requires counties to receive mail-in ballots until Saturday, if they were postmarked on Election Day, and give voters until Monday to fix issues with their signatures. He also noted that the county isn't yet allowed to process provisional ballots. What? I'm sorry, I don't know what a provisional ballot is. I'm just gonna look that up real quick. Provisional. Provisional ballot is used to record a vote when there are questions about a given voter's eligibility that must be resolved before the vote can count. This is like if a voter's name doesn't appear on their electoral roll, if their eligibility has been challenged, etc. Okay. My staff has been working very diligently. We've been here from early in the morning until late at night. We've been fully staffed. We're working as hard as we possibly can in order to get ballots counted, Gloria said. But whether we like it or not, there's no way we can move any faster than we're currently moving. Do it. Faster. Harder, better, faster. Nevada has tight races for the U.S. Senate, governor, and other offices. Arnar. A strong night for Democrats. Biden touts midterm results and the future of democracy. Democracy? Put your whole democracy into it. In remarks Thursday at the DNC event, President Joe Biden reiterated that Election Day was a good day for America and a strong night for Democrats. Tuesday was a good day for America, a good day for democracy, and it was a strong night for Democrats, Biden said, speaking to a room of DNC campaign workers and volunteers in Washington, D.C. He thanked them for believing in the country and for fighting to make sure there was a free and fair election. CNN is yet to project which party will win the House and Senate, and as several key races are too early to call. Tell me now. Please. Please. The president noted polls predicting big losses for his party before the election, saying, folks, that didn't happen, touting the success of Democrats holding onto the House seats and winning governorships across the country. We did beat the odds, the president said. It seems a little early to say that. We don't know. We don't know if we're keeping the House or the Senate. We don't know shit. It was the first national election since Jan 6, and there were a lot of concerns about if democracy would meet the test. It did. It did. It did. Although it's Biden, so it's probably like, it did. It did. It did. He said, referring to the 2021 insurrection at the Capitol. The future of democracy itself was a common message for Biden on the campaign trail ahead of Election Day. Yep. Vice President Kamala Harris, who also speaking at the event, echoed the president's message, saying, as we gather here, votes are being counted, but it's clear your work sent a message to the entire world. Democracy is intact. Yeah. Don't count your chickens before they hatch, right? The vice president said voters across the country knew what they stood for. So they knew what they were fighting for, pointing to states where voters approved ballot measures aimed at protecting abortion. Harris argues that people do not want Harris argued that people do not need to abandon their beliefs to agree that the government should not be telling a woman what to do with her body. The president understands democracy is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it, Harris said, adding that what they saw this week is that when we fight, we win. We did it, Joe. Arizona's Coconino County has less than 15,000 ballots left to be counted. Let's go. Coconino County, Arizona has about 14,896, that's very specific, ballots left to process and count, County Recorder Patty Hansen told CNN Thursday. Coconino is in the north central part of Arizona. Here's how that breaks down. Early ballots left to process, 12,630. Provisional ballots left to process, 1,000. Ballots that have been processed and are ready for tabulation, 1,266. Why Arizona is key. The race between Democratic Senator Mark Kelly versus Republican nominee Blake Masters, which could help determine the balance of the Senate, is yet to be called in Arizona. It is also too early to call the gubernatorial race between Democratic nominee Katie Hobbs and Republican nominee Larry Lake. I really hope she loses. I really do. Arizona's been through enough, don't you think? Okay. I'm going to skip a couple articles if you are following along. Huh? Georgia Secretary of State chooses his own race for mandatory statewide audit. So it begins. Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger picked his own race as the focus of a required statewide audit for 2022 election results. Raffensperger, a Republican who refused former President Donald Trump request to find votes needed to overturn his 2020 loss in the Peach State, defeated the Democratic nominee this week. That is a terribly structured sentence. All right. Georgia law passed in 2019 requires the Secretary of State to choose one race every 2 years to conduct a risk-limiting audit of the results. Well, that's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. Sure. Georgia election officials estimate that 5 to 7% of ballots from the Secretary of State race will be recounted for the audit. They say the results will prove statistical confidence that the election outcome is correct. It does seem a little sussy that he chose his own race. Um, I don't know what to make of that exactly. Either he's like, I really want to be sure that I won, or like there's something like sussy going on. But given that Raffensperger declined Trump's request to find votes, you know, it's probably legit. How the audits work. Georgia's 159 counties will be required to conduct a hand recount of a batch of results from the race. On November 16, election officials will roll a 20-sided dice. What? Dude, they're playing D&D with elections. It's not really how I did not know this. On November 16, election officials will roll a 20-sided dice to determine which random batches of ballots will be counted, and then each county election office will start their hand counting on November 17. They are expected to share the results the following day. Dude, they get one day to count like thousands of votes. Damn. Blake Evans, the election director with the Secretary of State's office, will spearhead the audit. I think it's a very honorable thing for the secretary to choose his own contest because we have a high degree of confidence in it. Evans said during a Thursday press conference, "We want folks to know that we are trustworthy." Sure. Sure. Um, I guess since Georgia is already going to a Senate runoff, there's no need to audit that office, those ballots. I don't know. State leaders said that they chose the race to try to ease the burden on busy county election workers. The large margin of victory for Raffensperger makes the audit easier to conduct. That's important given the impending Senate runoff that will keep them busy. Raffensperger's only function in the audit is to select the race to be examined, according to his office. He's like, I won by so much. This will make it easier on you. Fuck's sake. Warnock kicks off runoff campaign. Are you ready to do this one more time? That's a quote from Warnock. That's not just me. Democratic incumbent Senator Raphael Warnock kicked off his runoff campaign against Republican Herschel Walker on Thursday in Atlanta, arguing his second runoff Senate election in as many years is about competence and character. Remember, CNN projected on Wednesday that the hotly contested Senate contest in Georgia will advance to a runoff between Warnock and Walker on December 6th. Depending on how Senate races in Arizona and Nevada are decided, the race would be determinative in control of the currently evenly divided state. Quote, I came really to ask you one question. Are you ready to do this one more time? End quote, Warnock said to Cheers. A nod to the successful runoff election he ran against Republican Kelly Loeffler in 2020. Let's get it done. Love the confidence. Warnock looked to avoid the scenario in the final weeks of his campaign, running ads warning Georgians that all the attack ads they have seen for months would continue through Thanksgiving if the state had a runoff. Now, you have to admit that I did warn you that we all might be spending Thanksgiving together, Warnock said. And here we are. So I'm going to need you to stick with me for 4 more weeks. Can we do that? Because I've got some unfinished business. It's like oddly ominous. Warnock only glancingly acknowledged the potential national ramifications of the race. I need you to fight like the future of Georgia and the future of America depends on it, because it does, he said. And instead used his speech to speak directly to Georgians who didn't vote for him on Tuesday night. For those of you who made a difficult choice this time, whether for Herschel Walker or someone else, I want to speak directly to you. Over the next 4 weeks, I hope you will give me the opportunity to earn your vote, the Democratic senator said. Every day I have served in the Senate, I have been thinking about the people of Georgia, and that is what I will do the next 6 years. God damn it, Arizona. Why are you consistently a problem? For fuck's sake. Official. Arizona's Maricopa County hasn't started counting 290,000 early ballots dropped off on election day. They just haven't started. Great. That should be fine. It's only like 300,000 votes. Whatever. Take your time. Take your sweet ass time, Arizona. We're not like all waiting on you or anything. Arizona's Maricopa County has not started counting 290,000 ballots that were dropped off at voting sites on election day. A critical batch of ballots that could help determine who wins the uh, uncalled Senate and governor's races in the state. Bill Gates, a chairman of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, told CNN Thursday. Yeah, it's hella close. Let me fucking carry like the uh, what the fuck's her name? Robson? Robeson? No, Hobbs. Katie Hobbs. Habs. Uh, um, where's give it to me? Uh, oh, here it is. Yeah, yeah. I could easily swing it either way, dude. We've got Katie Hobbs at 963,439. Carrie Lake is sitting at 946,762. Let me just do a little quick maths. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. So Katie Hobbs is only leading by 16,000 votes. 16,677 to be exact. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Um, Maricopa County has about 400,000 ballots left to count, and 290 of those are early ballots that were dropped off at voting sites on Tuesday, Gates told CNN's Sarah Sidner. The 290,000 votes that were dropped off on election day was a record, he said. About 70% more people chose to vote by dropping off their early ballots on election day than they have at any point in the past, breaking the previous record, Gates said. Those ballots must have a signature verification review before they can be counted, he told CNN. If you drop off an early ballot, it means it has to come in on Wednesday and start the process of being signature verified, Gates said, which is a process that takes longer than voting in person on election day and having your vote counted through the tabulator immediately. Why, though? Like, if you're comparing everyone's signature against their, like, DMV signature or, like, whatever official signature you have from them, that should all be automated. It should be hella fast. You literally match someone's name to the records. Are they doing this by hand? Like, Jesus. We have experts here who go through, compare the signatures on the outside of the ballot envelope with the signature that we have in our voter registration file. Yeah, they're doing it by hand. Jesus fucking Christ. Honestly, we should be voting online. There's no fucking reason. So that takes a while because we got to get that right. Yeah, God forbid someone use a slightly different fucking signature than they did on their voter registration form. Like, bitch, who fucking cares? Like, I feel like my signature changes like throughout the years, you know? Maricopa County had big voter turnout throughout the whole election, with about 230,000 people voting in person on election day, in addition to the ballots that were dropped off, Bill Gates, chairman of Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, said. Key races to determine the control of Senate in Arizona in and Nevada have yet to be called, as both states race to count. Oh my god, I'm starting over. Key races to control the that nope. Key races to determine the control of the Senate in Arizona and Nevada have yet to be called, as both states race to count hundreds of thousands of ballots that have yet to be processed. It still may take hours or days before enough ballots are counted in those states to determine who won the Senate. There are so many uncalled congressional races that will determine what the House looks like when the new Congress is seated. The official results and lingering uncertainty about who will control Congress next year hasn't prevented Republican apprehension about election results. Yep, where an expected Republican wave never materialized. Sucks to suck. Seethe harder. Cope and seethe and piss and shit and fart. Here's what you should know as the counting continues. Where things stand in Arizona and Nevada, and why it's taking so long to count ballots. The biggest reason for the delay is the way that each state handles ballots outside of those cast at polling places on election day, including both early ballots and mail-in ballots. In Arizona, for instance, there are still roughly 600,000 ballots to be counted. The majority of those, about 400,000 ballots, are in Maricopa County, the state's most populous county that includes Phoenix. Of those ballots, about 290,000 were dropped off at vote centers on election day. Yes, we know this. Blah. In addition, the county has about 17,000 ballots that were attempted to be counted on an election day, but were not read by the tabulator because of a printer error. And those ballots still need to be counted too. Fuck's sake. In Nevada, state law allows mail-in ballots to be received through Saturday. Through Saturday? No, damn. As long as they were postmarked by election day. That means counties are still receiving ballots to be counted. Clark County, the state's largest, that includes Las Vegas, received more than 12,000 postmarked ballots from the post office on Wednesday, Clark County Registrar Joe Gloria said. In addition, counties in Nevada have tens of thousands of mail in ballots that were dropped off on election day in drop boxes located at polling places. Clark County said that election drop boxes contain nearly 57,000 mail in ballots. Trump versus DeSantis. The lackluster performance of several candidates endorsed by former President Donald Trump has cast new doubts on his expected 2024 campaign. At the same time, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' resounding re-election victory is fueling calls for him to capitalize on his momentum and challenge Trump for the 2024 nomination. Oh, it's going to be so funny. I probably shouldn't be this excited about two fascists going up against each other, but you know what? Hell, you got to find the joy. The Trump DeSantis showdown has been simmering for months now, but it could burst into the open as the primary season gets underway. After a red wave washes out, McCarthy faces tougher path. Republicans are still closing in on a majority of the House, even after Democrats had a better than expected night Tuesday. House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy is moving swiftly to lock down votes needed to claim the Speaker's gavel in the next Congress. CNN has not yet projected a Republican takeover of the chamber, but the ultimate size of a Republican majority could determine how difficult it will be for McCarthy to become Speaker, as a narrow majority could prompt the pro Trump House Freedom Caucus to stand in the way of McCarthy's leadership ambitions. A source familiar with the House Freedom Caucus deliberations told CNN on Wednesday morning that there are 2 dozen current and incoming members willing to vote against McCarthy if he doesn't offer them concessions. Arnar. Yeah, I bet those 2 dozen incoming members are all fucking QAnoners. It's all bad. It's all bad. I mean, I don't like McCarthy, but the idea of a QAnoner leading the House is troubling. Ballots are still being counted for the Boebert Frisch race. That sucks. I was really hoping that she was going to lose. CNN has not yet made a projection in the race yet, but Frisch was ahead of Boebert by just 386. 386, bro. It's so tight. That's so dumb. Who likes Boebert and why? Oh shit. I forgot about the COP27 climate conference. Shit, that's happening right now. House Democratic leadership elections have been officially announced for November 30th. Speculation over House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's future atop the House Democratic caucus has intensified in the aftermath of the midterm elections. CNN has not yet projected which party will control the House, but Republicans appear to be inching towards picking up the number of seats needed to win back the majority. I hate how close it is. Bro. Why? CNN reported in September that in interviews with more than 24 House Democrats, a consensus began to emerge. If Democrats lose the majority, there would be an overwhelming pressure for Pelosi to go, a prospect that Democratic sources said the powerful House Speaker is keenly aware of. Pelosi recently told CNN's Anderson Cooper in an interview that the violent attack on her husband Paul would have an impact on her decision making over her political future, though she did not say what the decision will be. The elections will be a secret ballot using a web based application. Huh. Huh. Wait. So Congress can vote. Congress can vote online with a secret ballot, but we can't. Curious. Funny how that works. That's so it's so interesting and fascinating and cute. Yeah, no, Pelosi has been in power long enough. I think we've seen enough. Incumbent Democratic Representative Jahana Hayes will win in Connecticut's 5th district, CNN projects, and defeat Republican George Logan. Let's go. So got 34 races uncalled. Here's how Democrat John Fetterman flipped Pennsylvania. I wanted to get to this one. Democrat John Fetterman's victory over Trump-backed Republican Mehmet Oz, the cardiothoracic surgeon turned TV doctor, was the culmination of his own political journey. From big brash small town mayor in western Pennsylvania to the cusp of membership in one of the country's most traditionally genteel political institutions. In the primary, Fetterman, without a patron or validator, delivered a resounding victory by winning all 67 counties, often by overwhelming margins, what ended up being a 4-candidate race. He even came away on top in Philadelphia with nearly 37% of the vote. Fetterman also swept the collar counties around the city, which would become a key focus for him and his opponent in the fall, prevailing in each by an average of almost 25 percentage points. But his triumph was tempered when he revealed in a statement that he suffered a stroke. The following 2 months, which Fetterman spent much of at home recuperating, ended up being the most critical period of the Democrats' campaign. Unable to do in-person events, the campaign leaned into a hyperactive social media presence, all directed at defining Oz as an out-of-state elitist with a mix of memes, pithy tweets, and at times the help of famous celebrities. Quote, "It was a strategic plan to define Oz early and define him as not being from PA or for PA," said Rebecca Katz, the campaign's top advisor, adding that Fetterman insisted the content never be mean and often spent time during his recovery pinging staff with memes and ideas to connect with voters with whom he couldn't personally engage. He won with memes. The memes won him over. The race grew more competitive after Labor Day as more voters tuned into the race, and tens of thousands of dollars from outside groups like the GOP's Senate Leadership Fund and others led to ads blanketing the airwaves. Questions about Fetterman's health dominated coverage of the campaign. In a debate with Oz, Fetterman struggled as many expected. But the Fetterman campaign moved quickly to shift the narrative, seizing on one debate line from Oz, and they had announced a new ad hammering Oz over his suggestion that local political leaders should have a hand, along with women and doctors, in the process. The final weeks of the campaign were nerve-rattling, expensive, whirlwind. Former President Barack Obama and President Joe Biden appeared for the rallies with him across Philadelphia. Aides also pointed to a late endorsement, delivering with no warning a few days before the presidential cavalry arrived from Oprah Winfrey, which helped launch Oz's TV career. Ah, what? Wait, I didn't know. I didn't know that. Oprah Winfrey endorsed Fetterman after literally creating Oz. Like, she made Oz in a lab somewhere probably, and fucking comes out against him. That's fucking gotta love Oprah. Just days later, Calvello watched silently as Fetterman took the stage on election night and immediately touted his campaign's work in typically red enclaves. Oh yeah. Memes are the way into the hearts and minds of Americans. It's true. All right, that's about all. I wasn't really expecting, to know everything. I just wanted to catch up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm expecting the remaining ballots that have to be counted to oops. The remaining ballots that have to be counted are probably largely going to be Democratic. So I would venture to say that the Dems are going to close the gap. At least I hope so. That's the hope. Fingers crossed. All that. Okay, it's time for me to go back over to Twitch, my home. Yes. If you would like to join me over there, we're going to be watching Leftovers and then probably a little more news stuff. Here's the link for that. Yeah, I hope to see you there. Bye.